An anonymous source contacted Electric, letting them know that Tesla has kind of made up their mind on the next Gigafactory location, which apparently has been decided on Austin, Texas, or at least nearby to that city, which it doesn't really surprise that many people, given Elon's been tweeting about Giga Texas for a long time, and it's a very populated area. They've already got a presence there with SpaceX, so we know Elon's spending a lot of time in Texas anyway. Plus, doesn't hurt that Tesla seems to be very, very passionate about leaving California as soon as they can, and being very, very aggressive with this GigaAustin timeline actually makes a lot of sense if they're hoping to move out of Fremont, prevent expanding in California, and just start working on other locations. So again, this is an anonymous source, so we can't necessarily say that this is for sure happening, but Electric says this source has been reliable in the past, and lots of other news agencies are also reporting similar things from, anonymous sources. So it's possible that maybe the paperwork just hasn't quite been finalized, or Tesla is still weighing out other options, but this one is apparently the front runner. And essentially the reason they're going with Texas is because of government incentives and state promises of being able to get this factory up and running as soon as possible, with a timeline even more ambitious than Giga Shanghai, which we already thought was crazy fast to go from, digging up some mud to pumping out Model 3s in under a year. GigaAustin is reportedly hoping to start bringing out Model Ys from this factory by the end of 2020. This year. So in a matter of like 6 months, they want this factory to be pumping out vehicles. Now, let's preface this by saying it's not the exact same thing as Giga Shanghai, which was producing every single part of the vehicle, whereas this source is claiming that Model Y production would be general assembly. So that means a lot of the parts and a lot of the body panels and perhaps battery packs and things like that would be shipped over from the Fremont factory, and then just the assembly would take place at GigaAustin. So it's not necessarily building the entire vehicle from the beginning, but it does support that idea that they're looking to move away from Fremont for future projects. So obviously, Fremont is producing a ton of vehicles, and Tesla has said in the past that it's kind of reaching its max potential, so it's not capable of adding that many more assembly lines, so they can't really produce the Cybertruck there, they can't produce the Tesla Semi there, they probably won't even produce the Tesla Roadster there, which I think means that Fremont factory, it's going to be around for a while, it's still going to be producing vehicles, but it's primarily going to be Model S, X, and 3, and given Model Y production ramp is happening right now, and it sounds like they want to get the move on GigaAustin as soon as they can, making Model Ys come out of that factory first, even if it is just general assembly and not necessarily building every part of the car. That supports their previous statements that Tesla is not looking necessarily for Fremont to be the sole location that all Model Ys are produced from. They want to have them coming out of GigaAustin so they're more equal distance from every part of the US. They can be shipping Model Ys to the East Coast, the West Coast, and when it comes to Asia and Europe, those will just wait on the Gigafactories that are already being built there, which they've already announced the Model Y program for Giga Shanghai, so that's been decided on. And of course, Giga Berlin, the first vehicles off that assembly line in July of next year, will be the Model Y. So Tesla knows the Model Y is a huge popular segment, and there's a lot of room for growth in this sector. So as they're growing Model Y assembly lines and looking to ramp production faster and faster, it makes sense that they would want to start moving general assembly, and probably in time as the factory expands, kind of similar to Gigafactory 1 in Nevada. They can build out a piece of the factory and have it be operational while still be expanding the factory at the same time. So the factory will be probably really, really small at first if they don't have a stamping area and they are importing a lot of the parts for the Model Y from the Fremont factory. That would mean they don't need a facility necessarily as large as Giga Shanghai to start actually pumping vehicles out of it. But the bigger problem with GigaAustin is that Texas in its current state does not allow Tesla to sell its vehicles to consumers because of dealership laws, and that's just one of the states that has not moved on from that yet. And that means that they couldn't necessarily sell cars directly to people there, given the governor has been a big advocate for Tesla moving there, and it sounds like a ton of state officials from Texas are begging and pleading that Elon move their factory there, and they keep advertising how great a state it is for manufacturing and that'll be perfect for a new gigafactory. So I think when you have that many state officials on your side, you could probably change the law pretty quickly by the time vehicles are actually coming off of the assembly line. And of course, GigaAustin would be where the Cybertruck ends up being produced. So if it's true that they're just moments away from announcing GigaAustin as the official location, and they want to get Model Ys coming out of this factory as soon as December, that's an insanely ambitious timeline. I mean, it sets a huge record for Tesla when it comes to their gigafactories, and saying that, hey, when we want to do something, we can achieve it and we'll do it fast. That, I think, could reinforce the idea that the Cybertruck is still coming out by the end of next year. They want to move quick on this thing, and that's probably the biggest incentive they're looking for when scouting for this next central US gigafactory. gigafactories. Just who can build this thing the fastest, how can we bypass all the red tape, and who's going to provide us with the best state benefits, with tax cuts and the corporate tax being much lower in Texas and Oklahoma and all the states in the central US compared to California. So again, just a rumor, just an anonymous source, but we all know it's probably Elon, right? Elon's just DMing these people on Twitter and letting them know, like, hey, shareholders are saying I can't technically announce it yet, but it's basically been decided on. So once it is decided on and confirmed, of course, I'll do a video on that. But what do you guys think of this timeline? Is it BS? Is it impossible that they could have a factory producing vehicles within that short of a time frame? Or do you think this is legit? Do you think this sounds right? Let me know what you're thinking by hitting me up over on Twitter. Join my Discord and we can chat more about it there. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.